Welcome back to the Diamond K Show here on RadioOnFire.com. Thank you for joining me. Of course, we are broadcasting from the Radio on Fire studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. And election season, of course, is here. We are in the midst of it, and always an exciting time for me. They say every time, this is the single biggest election ever. You know, they always say that. And this time it is one of, if not the most important elections, at least in my lifetime. And so I'm excited about election season. I'm excited whenever we reach this milestone. So I am going to be joined by a candidate, and we're going to talk about platforms. We're going to talk about the race and what it means to be a city council a member of the city council. I want to talk a little bit about that because we frequently, when we talk to people, they don't always know what a city council person does. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Over the weekend, some national real quick. Over the weekend, the president announced the death of the most wanted person in the world, which was a leader of ISIS, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. So they announced the death of him. So it's just like the Osama bin Laden thing that happened. They had their own thing. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up quickly is that sometimes people can rip defeat from the jaws of victory. Right? This should be something that is good and celebrated, but the way that the president is doing it, kind of over dancing in the end zone. You ever see somebody get a touchdown? They slam the football down. They do this dance, and it's ongoing celebration. That's what's happening now. So I want people to understand: don't rip defeat from the jaws of victory. Right? So that's what's happening on the national front, and on the local front, we're going to talk to a candidate. As you know, we have been speaking to many candidates that are running in Baltimore for various positions. So I'm excited to do that. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's come back with our guest, and we'll be back after this. All right, we are back. Thank you. Mic is on? Is this thing on? Yes, absolutely. So, of course, we're back. RadioOnFire.com. Diamond K in here. And we're in the midst of election season, as I've been saying lately. And I'm excited about election season because we really need people to participate in this process. And we need more people than ever to vote. And I have someone beside me who is running for office. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, Derwin running for the 9th District.
So you're city council in the ninth district. Um, what really brought you into politics? Why are you? How did you get here?
Uh, it's a long story, but we'll try to keep it short.
Sure.
Just the need, man. Just the need for better service, the better need for accountability. Just wanting to make a difference.
Yes. And so for people that don't know where the ninth district is and whether they live in the ninth district, give me a roundabout.
The 9th District stretches is a pretty large district. It stretches up to North Avenue, Monroe Street, up to Brunswick Avenue, beyond Carey Street. So it's a pretty large district.
Yeah, and we're talking about in West Baltimore.
Right.
Absolutely. So let's go back to the beginning. Where did you grow up?
South Carolina.
Okay.
Came here in 1996.
Okay. And did you grow up a fan? Fan maybe is wrong. Did you follow politics growing up?
Not really. Just try to keep up with what was going on in the world. So growing up in a large family of 10, there was 10 of us.
Okay. Yeah.
So 6 sisters, 4 brothers. So we're pretty much growing up just making it, man, and just trying to like do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. So as it relates to the ninth district, you feel that things could be better?
I know they could be better. I know they could. At some point in time, when you look around the district, this is not something that just happened.
Absolutely.
This has come from years of neglect, years of being underserved, misrepresented, and among other things. And when you look at it, where we live, we're no less than maybe 5 or 10 minutes from downtown.
Right.
And
meaning City Hall.
Exactly, and you're making the wrong turn. It's like you're turning into a third world country. It amazes me how you could come from one side of town to the other and see the difference.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with the representation that you have.
Yes. If you could pinpoint one thing, and it may be difficult, but if you could pinpoint one thing, what is the biggest problem in the ninth district?
It's a long list, but what I focus on is looking at the cleanup. That being, we have over 700 and something vacant houses, in that district. That's just in pretty much one area.
Right.
When you look at people purchasing properties and walking away from them, I believe that a healthy community is a thriving community.
Yes.
So you got to start somewhere. We can't keep neglecting the fact that people have been purchasing these properties or living in them at one point and just walking away from them. There's so many things that happen. Just the other week on the block where I live, we had 2 fires on just that block. And we got to understand that these are row houses, and there's a lot of things that can happen. They're finding bodies in these houses. It's a number of things, but if there's the one thing that we want to focus on is making sure, just trying to bring back a healthy community.
Yep. So when you've been doing your canvassing of neighborhoods and meeting people, are they on the same conclusion that you are at, that things could be better, should be better, or are they just kind of accepting the way things are?
Certain areas, there are certain areas to where people have pretty much somewhat lost hope.
Yeah.
And there are some areas that I walk in to where you will see community members that's been holding these communities down for many years. You got a lot of older residents that form a community association, and you have the same older people. You see them out cleaning, you'll see them out, canvassing, you'll see them out just trying to like reach out and hope that things will get better. But nevertheless, they're not giving up, and we can't give up on them. We've got to work with these people.
Yes. Those type of residents are what I call the backbone of the
Absolutely.
of the community. Very important to have. have those people and have relationships with them. A lot of those residents remember how things were, and have that vision of how we can get it back to a certain point and then beyond. Um, so one subject that has really been um, on the radar, so to speak, for quite some time here in Baltimore and other cities as well, are the Squeegee Kids. Um, what are your thoughts on the Squeegee Kids?
My thoughts, there's good and bad, to go along with that.
Right.
You know, I have an old saying, I'm old school, I'm old fashioned. Like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Absolutely.
So when you're encouraging these kids, it's dangerous. First and foremost, it's a dangerous thing that they do. One of the things that we look at, we're always trying to find ways to combat, these things. With them being on the corners, like I said, I can't even stress out how dangerous it is, and it's scary for a lot of people. So we've got to come to find some way to compromise and to make sure that people feel safe, in their cars.
Yes.
And along these highways. I don't condone it, at all, because there's a number of other things that these kids could be doing besides being on these corners.
As far as to get money, other legal things that they could do.
Exactly.
As far as a city council person, from the way you understand it, what is your job?
For what I understand, you represent the people in your district. You're that voice. You're the person that they should be able to hold accountable for finding resources, for finding solutions, for meeting with different community associations and find out what the needs are and addressing these. Making sure that every community has a voice, and you're that voice that carries it downtown to City Hall to make sure that if there's resources available, these communities should get them. It's like, I'm old school and I'll say a lot of stuff like the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Right.
So when you look at other communities and other council people, and they're representing their districts, if you're not opening your mouth, if you're not saying anything, your district is not getting any help. So as a council person, we don't want to put unrealistic expectations on anyone, but somebody's got to stand up and fight. Because if you don't, you'll never get anything.
That's true. So
as a council person, I want to hear what everybody has to say. I want to meet with people in these communities. I want to put these communities first. We do a lot of stuff downtown. We do a lot of stuff in other areas. And one thing the city will always say is that they don't have money, but it's funny how they'll find money for things that they really want to do.
Yes. Yes.
When going back to the Squeegee Kids, when they found out that, it's amazing how they found a couple $1 million to see what we can do, to combat that. So why can't we use that same energy in these communities when there's a need?
Yes, and there's definitely a need. As far as policing and our commissioner Harrison, what type of a job do you think he's been doing thus far? I know he hasn't been in the position long, but how do you think he's been doing thus far?
I mean, I think he's doing a great job, and I say that because when you bring somebody into an area or community that they know absolutely nothing about, there's going to be like hits and misses. There's always going to be hits and misses. There's always going to be that. So what I like about him is that he listens to the community. He takes his time. He walks the community. We've been on several walks, and he actually listens and he tries to do what he can to try to make it better. I mean, the relationship between the public right now and the police department, there's a strain on it.
Yes.
So at some point in time, we've got to come to the table and say we've got to find a solution to the point where, look, the police, they're not the enemy. A lot of people will talk about the jobs that they do, but in any job that we do, there's good and bad. There's always going to be good and bad.
Yes.
Everybody's not going to be perfect. Everybody's not going to do a good job. Everybody's not going to be about what they say they're about. But that's the point where we hold people accountable in what they say and do.
Let me push back on something that you just said, I'm not doing it because I think it's a bad thing, but I kind of want you to expand on it a little bit more. You said that the police are not the enemy, right? Who is the enemy?
A lot of times the enemy is ourselves. We can be our own worst enemies a lot of times.
Right.
We can do that. I mean, when we do things that we know aren't right, or when we do things that we know that we can do something different, the police department has a job to do. These men and women, put on a uniform, same way we go to our jobs, they go to their job too. Are we putting unrealistic expectations on them? What do we expect from them? What do we want from them to protect and to serve?
Right.
But at what cost? So what are we doing, to support, what they do? And like you and I said, we all have jobs.
Yeah.
When I go to my job, I want to come home safely. And I'm sure when they put on a uniform, they want to go home to their families and as well.
Yeah. I think that it's all connected. I think that part of the problems in the community stem from the resources. It stems from the mistrust of the police and law enforcement, and finding ways to make relationships better. I think that crime could go down if there was a better partnership between the community and law enforcement. But because that mistrust is so heightened, I think that a lot of times people could come forward with information and don't, for various reasons, because that trust level is not there. So I mean, this is something that did not happen, overnight. So it's definitely something that's going to take time to improve. As far as campaigning, politics can be a rough business. But you seem like a nice person. Are you built for this dirty game?
Look, I'm built tough. I'm built tough. I'm reasonable. I remain humble. I listen. And I get results.
That's important.
A lot of times, people can talk about stuff, but if you're not doing anything, if your actions aren't showing in that walk, then you're absolutely doing nothing. I have a great relationship with a lot of people downtown. I have a great relationship with the police department, DPW, already. So this campaign is just not about me. It's about our communities. And myself and my team, we hit the ground running. We're ready to work.
That's good. That's good. And you said team. Team is very important in this. As far as the other folks that are going for the same position that you're going for, how has it been? Very contentious? Has it been everybody getting along? How has that been going?
I mean, I get along with anybody. I'm not the guy to waste the time or energy, focusing on feelings and hating somebody, or disliking somebody, or whatever. People are who they are,
right?
And that's the one thing that I tell people all the time is that, you can love everybody once you know who they are, and you allow them to be who they are. But with me, I have many other things to focus on besides worrying about what somebody else is thinking and what somebody else is feeling, about the campaign. The campaign is just a stepping stone. If you're doing your job, like any job that you get, if you're doing your job, then you don't have this to worry about.
Right. I agree with that 100%. How can people support your campaign and your movement and get involved?
Well, and to support it, you can write us a check. We like money.
Yeah.
It takes money to do anything. Friends of Derwin Hannah. Or you can call me at 443-527-7829. We have an email, just my name, Derwin Hannah, one word, at yahoo.com. Please feel free to contact me at any time. I answer my phone calls. I answer my emails right away. I'm accessible, and that's one of the things that I promised in my campaign, is that I will always be accessible to the people I represent. Matter of fact, my office, I will have an office in the community, so that when you need to see me, you don't have to come downtown. I'll be there. This is a name that you will know. As a person that represents you, you will know my name, and you will know the face, because I'll be available.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you speaking with me, Mr. Hannah. And before we go, I want to give you the last word. If you could speak directly to the citizens and the voters from District 9 and tell them why they need to vote for you.
District 9, the reason you should vote for me is because I want you to hold me accountable for everything that I do, everything I say to you. If you want something better, we got to do something better. We can reclaim our communities a little bit at a time. It's not going to happen in one day, but I promise you that it will happen.
Thank you very much. All right, stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.